Hi guys, so I've been covering the lead up to the Menendez Netflix Monsters series. I am really excited for it. I know I said in one of my videos I was really nervous for it, and I do stand by a lot of things I said in that video. I was really nervous for the discourse that is going to come from this series, right? I was really sort of like, it's going to be really prickly because there's still a large chunk of society that does not believe what they consider to be the abuse excuse, and I thought the discourse was just going to get really ugly because a lot of people in my generation really believe the Menendez brothers' stories and really want to see them out of jail. And I just thought no matter what, no matter how Netflix portrayed them, it was going to piss a large group of people off. And then I was really bothered by the initial teaser they released. I enjoyed and really loved the first half, but that weird sort of like incestuous shot they got to towards the end of it with the two brothers embracing felt strange. Was it artsy? Was it cool? If it was a fictional story, I would have loved it, but I was just like, what are we doing here? However, I absolutely love the two main trailers Netflix has released.
Starting right now.
Do they feel shameless? Do they feel angry and out of control and crazy and a bit trashy and a bit tasteless at times? Yes.
You don't murder your parents that way.
But oh my God, like I'm not gonna lie, like I do think they look excellent. First off, it is very clear that they are exploring both angles. The first trailer definitely feels a lot more of the rich, pretty boy, lavish lifestyle with something maybe darker vibe. And the second trailer very much leans into the idea that the parents were evil, were absolute monsters. And it's just so captivating to see how Netflix is kind of like giving you one trailer that kind of leans one way and another trailer that leans the other way. Out of the two trailers, I definitely prefer the first one they dropped. This was the one set to that like upbeat pop song. Unbelievable. Like, in the same trailer, you just get so many interesting shots that feel just heinous and violating and fucked up, in my opinion, in the best way possible. Specifically, this shot of Javier Bardem kind of yelling. If you really look at the framing of this shot, it does look sexual, it does look violent, and I think in the corner of the screen you can see a head bobbing. If that is what I think it is, if that is a visual display of one of the Menendez brothers doing that to their father, I think we're in for a horrifying, dark, twisted show. I could not believe that is where the trailer went. That is where the trailer took it. But on top of that, there's a shot where the Menendez brothers are shooting up their parents and two shotgun shells eject in sync. This is not going to be a show that is particularly subtle, but I do think this is going to be an incredibly captivating show, and it is definitely going to push buttons and create a lot of controversy. But I just found the bait and switch in this first trailer where it really portrayed them as these sort of like American Psycho, Wolf of Wall Street, like challengers, almost rich, cocky, arrogant boys. And then in the last chunk of the trailer really show them crying and breaking down and how abusive the household was. I think it was an absolute masterstroke of a trailer. And then the second trailer, opening with Javier Bardem's really disturbing story about the dog collar. And that one is really heavy on the abuse and how awful the parents were.
I hate my kids. They've turned us into people we don't want to be. And I regret having you.
Mom, you can't say that.
I think both trailers are excellent. Also, what a stacked cast. Can I just say, especially the parents, Chloe Sevigny and Javier Bardem. Holy shit. Like, yeah, I am excited. I do think it's going to be controversial. I do think the discourse is going to be really kind of outrageous. But as a show, I think we're in for a treat. I do think Ryan Murphy is going to deliver here. There is so much excellent production value on display. The song choices for both trailers are fitting, especially the first one. This contrast of having this upbeat song kick in after killing their parents and then saying horrifying true events and then showing the boys living it up, only to then subvert that with the really dark ending. Again, particularly that shot with Javier Bardem with what looks like a young man orally him in the corner of the frame. Just very disturbing, and a bold choice from Netflix to put that in the trailer. I'm really curious as to how this show is going to go, but I am definitely excited. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm really only doing it because I had one comment on my last video begging me to talk about these new trailers. So yes, these two new trailers definitely give me hope for the series. I do think Netflix, Ryan Murphy is going to deliver. While I've got you, while we're talking about the Menendez brothers, I do want to offer some supplementary reading, I guess. So here's what I've watched. I've watched a few YouTube videos, which I'll display here. I've also watched the Fox Nation documentary, which I think, in my opinion, gives a really balanced look at the case. It gives you enough about the prosecution where you do actually understand where they were coming from and why they look at the boys the way they do, but also does a really good job of substantiating the boys' claims and what makes their story so compelling and why you should probably believe them. But on top of that, I also watched the Law and Order true crime series about the Menendez brothers. And you know what? This has pretty bad reviews, and it is clearly kind of piggybacking off the success of American Crime Story, the O.J. Simpson trial. It came out a year later. It very much follows a similar format, a similar structure. But my God, super captivating, super interesting. I thought this is the approach that the Netflix show should have taken, but I guess this show has already done it. But super interesting court procedural. Edie Falco absolutely crushes it. And the boys are really good too. This isn't highbrow TV. It does feel like straight to TV Law and Order. That's the best way I can explain it. Like, the production value is a bit funny and it feels like a show right out of the 80s or 90s, but in a really interesting way. But God, I was hooked to this show, and it does a really good job of initially selling you on the idea that these boys were monsters. There's so many interesting angles where you're like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Why are they writing a script about killing their parents? Why are they going on a spending spree? But then as it kind of drip feeds information to you, it really starts shifting your mind, and it creates a really compelling look at the trial. So I definitely suggest watching that version of the show, the Law and Order true crime series about the Menendez brothers. I think it was excellent. But there's one thing I actually want to ask my audience at home about. There is a scene towards the end of the Law and Order true crime series. Spoilers, if you want to not know anything, tap out now. But there is a scene where a woman, I believe it was Jose's sister, who testified in favor for the brothers and the abuse they went through, who was actually saying, yeah, there were definitely signs this abuse happened. She actually says to Edie Falco, the reason I knew it was happening is because Jose was abused by his mother. I know that for a fact, that Jose's mother used to abuse him and now he's abused his kids. Is this true? Because I was Googling it and I was trying to find it. And I think it's really irresponsible if Law and Order just made that up for a dramatization, because in my opinion, it really substantiates the idea that abuse was definitely going on in that household. So I am actually asking those of you at home, do you guys know if that is true? The idea that Jose was being abused and also that Kitty was being abused when she was younger, because it's way easier for me to buy that then both parents would have abused their kids. Because initially you just hear the story that the boys told of the idea that not only one parent, but both parents were abusing them. And you're like, really? Like, both of them? My God. But yeah, the idea that Kitty and Jose were abused themselves definitely adds a level of like, holy fuck, this definitely happened. So I would really love to know, do any of you know if that was actually verified or validated? Is there any way I can look into that? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the person who really wanted me to make this video. I'm literally just making it for you. Have a lovely day, and I will be covering the series when it comes out in extensive detail on this channel. Thank you so much for watching.